I'm Dr. Gregg. Welcome to Properly Partnered. In this video, I'm going to teach you the rules of dating and engagement that actually will lead to relationships rather than just hookups. First, you want to make sure that you filter the guy that you're going to go on a date with through your own personal selection of what your absolute deal breakers are. So it's okay to have limits, and it's okay to know that there are certain things that you will and will not put up with, certain things you can tolerate or not tolerate, and certain things that you absolutely need and want in a relationship or just can't have in a potential partner. So once you've set your filter and you know what that is, put your potential dates through that filter before you actually schedule to meet. Because it doesn't make any sense to sit down and go out on a date and spend time with a person who is doing or has one of the absolute deal breakers that you've decided for yourself. So for example, if you've decided that, cigarette smoking is a deal breaker for you, then if you know that the person is a cigarette smoker, you might want to reconsider spending time and going out on a date with that person. Unless you're open to talking about that with them and if you feel that this is something you can work through. But if it's somebody that is, in a dead end job or involved in something that you absolutely can't stand or can't handle or don't want in your life, then once you put that person through the filter, you shouldn't be going on dates with them because you're just going to be wasting your time and trying to get water out of a stone, basically. So it's okay to have limits and know what you want. That being said, when you do meet with the guy, when you do have your date, be upfront about what you want. Be honest. Be direct about what you're looking for. It's better to talk about yourself and what you like and what you're looking for than to badger the person with questions about what they're into, about what they want, or are they serious about this, or have they done this, or have they done that. Nobody wants to be battered with a bunch of questions or put through a questionnaire. So talk about yourself, be upfront about what you're looking for. Once you've done your part in talking about what you're looking for, let him do the talking. And you should try to do more of the listening because what you're going for is you're trying to get a sense of how you feel with this person. It's not so much about the information that's shared, but more about the overall energy. It's okay to be unsure about how you feel for the guy. It's okay to know that you like him and to tell him that you like him, but you don't have to know why. You don't have to have a specific rationale or be able to explain it all. After all, this is human relationships and our feelings are our feelings. We can't always control them. And sometimes we just got to go with the flow. So it's okay to say, hey, I like this guy. I want to get to know him better. I want to spend some time with him. And then if you decide that you still like him or want to see more, then you can decide then. But it's a step by step process. You're not expected to know the reasons why not, and what for, and the how, why, who, and when, and where, especially early on in dating. And relationships are a process. So there's a lot of uncertainty that goes with dating and human relationships in general. When you go on your date, try to only discuss positive things. Try to discuss things that make you feel good. If the person starts to go down a path of discussing something that's unpleasant or negative, such as exes or problems they have, or something that's getting you away from that positive vibe, mildly, gently change the subject and bring it back to something fun and enjoyable. Dates are not the time to work out your interpersonal problems or help the person solve their unresolved codependent relationship with their mother or listen to all of the disappointing hookups that this person has been through in the last month. This is a time for you both to be present in the moment and see if you like being together. That's it. This is not a job interview. It shouldn't be boring. It shouldn't feel like torture. It shouldn't feel rigid. It should feel relaxed and fun and enjoyable. In fact, the most important measure of how well a date went is how fun it was. And you can set it up to be fun. Plan it ahead of time. Plan an activity or a goal oriented event where you do something together rather than saying just dinner. Because when you say we'll just go to dinner, it's sometimes it can be hard to orient yourself as to what to talk about, or there's a lot of awkwardness when you don't know the person too well. When you decide to do something fun, like go to a museum and look at a specific piece, or rent scooters, something where you're doing something fun helps keep the focus on the fun while you're in each other's company, and there's not that pressure of having to come up with something specific to talk about. Things will automatically come up in the event to talk about, and that makes it flow a lot easier. You also learn a lot about the other person by seeing how the person interacts with others and how they handle regular life events as they come up. Sitting down at dinner face to face for 2 hours doesn't really give you that much of an opportunity to see who this person is. And it's just more fun because it takes off the pressure and doesn't feel like a one-on-one interview. Remember, your goal is to see how you feel with him. Opening up about yourself usually prompts other people to open up about themselves. So talk about yourself freely. Be honest. You don't have to divulge all of your secrets, but talking about yourself openly usually engenders trust, and the person is more likely to do the same with you. When looking to establish a deep connection and a serious relationship, avoid having sex at first. It tends to send a very heavy message, unfortunately. It shouldn't be that way, but in our society and culture, having sex right away tends to, for many people, not everybody, but in general, having sex right away tends to minimize the potential lifespan expectation of a relationship, because there's so much bad rap given to quick sex in the gay community that it's easy for one or both of you to automatically confuse this with a simple hookup if you have sex right away. Be okay with allowing yourselves to get to know each other, to let some tension build up, some excitement, some mystery. You can flirt, you can talk about sexual things, you can say what you like, you can talk about how you feel about the person. But if you can keep sex out of the equation for a while, you're going to have a better opportunity to really create the kind of dynamic that you want without the complications and confusions of sex as it is getting in the way, because sex is very complex. Be fully present, just the two of you when you're together. Don't have the phone nearby, don't be texting, don't be using social media. Give this person the respect of your total attention. Be okay with quiet moments or times when you're not talking at all. That's not a bad thing, although it can be uncomfortable for a lot of people. Avoid having the expectation that there should be certain feelings or emotions on the date. People often get caught up in thinking, well, I didn't feel horny, or I didn't feel excited, or I didn't feel like I needed to be with this person, or I kept looking at other guys, or I was thinking about my ex. That doesn't mean anything. So don't put expectations on yourselves that it's supposed to go a certain way, or that you're supposed to think a certain way, or that you're supposed to feel a certain way from your experience with the person. Try to seek balance in the interaction, but not necessarily a 50-50 balance. What I mean by that is you want to feel a sense of cooperation. You don't want to feel like you're doing everything on the date. Things should feel somewhat balanced. And again, I say not half and half exactly, but it shouldn't feel like either it's all you or all him. When planning your date, try not to text. Pick up the phone. FaceTime is better, and if it's at all possible, talk in person. Say thank you for your date and be appreciative, but not overly doting. Tell them what you liked. Tell them what you enjoyed about your time together, any special moment that you might have shared, and feel free to be honest. Don't seek outside opinions from other people about your date. Let your feelings process before talking about him to other people. This is a very personal thing. Only you can know and understand how you felt in the company of this person. So anybody else who tries to give you advice on whether he's a good choice for you or not is simply not going to be able to do that, because they're not you and they are not in that dynamic that you have with him. So try to keep asking other people for their feedback at bay for a while until you can process and form your own solid opinion and feeling about how things are going. Stay in the present. Live the moment only. Don't try to imagine a future together with him, or don't try to visualize him as your long term partner walking down the aisle. Just enjoy the moment that you have now. Whatever you're doing in the moment, look at how you feel with this person now. Do you like what you see? Do you feel good? How do you feel treated by this person? A lot of guys have a hard time avoiding thinking way into the future about this person. How is this person going to be as my partner? What would it be like to introduce this person to my family? How will they ever get along with my coworkers? How is this person ever going to live with me and my 3 dogs? Just focus on being in the moment. Try not to imagine a future together or having him as your long-term partner. Besides, if you guys do become a couple, he'll be a different guy by then anyway, as will you be. So you're only together in the moment, and then tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that, you keep changing and becoming different individuals, and you'll be a different couple. So trying to base or decide the future based on this moment doesn't work. Be yourself, relax, and don't close off your options. Try not to commit yourself too soon. Date other people until you're absolutely sure that this is the person you want to invest all of your time in. Because by not committing yourself to him too soon, not only are you helping yourself to not shut yourself out of other options, but you're giving this guy a better chance at being with you. Because by keeping your options open to other people, you're also avoiding putting unnecessary pressure on him. You'll have fewer expectations from him. You'll have less chance of disappointment, and you'll allow the real person to shine through. And as a result, you'll be less likely to block him out. So you're doing both of you a service by keeping your options open and not committing too quickly. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I look forward to seeing you soon.